Spell N-word.
Yes, hard R or soft A.
Oh, it's the Can't Get Any Worse podcast on blast, giving you the real talk, no holding back. Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. There's always a silver lining. We'll set you free, so join the movement. Let's change the game with the Can't Get Any Worse podcast.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Can't Get Any Worse podcast. How are we all today? I hope we are well. My lord, it is full panic stations here, but before we do rip in, let's have another look at that at that opening clip. Let's hit play.
Spell N-word.
Yes, hard R or soft A.
My lord. So that is actually a real clip from the autistic spelling bee this year, apparently. So, my lord, we are one spelling bee away from getting the whole alphabet cancelled. Oh, God, that poor dude just overthinking it, just completely overthinking it, and then just all the judges just staring blankly at him like, what the fuck did you just say? But shout out to that bloke. I feel like he's got a huge career in comedy and podcasting one day. But yeah, like I said, it is full panic stations around here today. And to be honest, I don't know if I've ever been this stressed or worked up as I have been for the last week or so. And of course, the reason being, the day this comes out is the debut of Epifunny, my solo show. So, God, I am literally that worked up and stressed about it. I've spent the last week or so just trying to get it to stick in my head. I don't know fucking why, but it's just, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced anything like this, but it just feels like this was my whole schooling career, okay? No matter how many times I read it or I fucking said it out loud or anything, it just wouldn't stick in my head. And the frustrating thing about the solo show, right, is that I've written all this. All this has come out of my head onto the computer. So why the fuck is it not going back into my head now? Does that make sense? So yeah, I'm just like blanking on shit. And like the other thing is they're all like actual fucking stories and shit, like all stories and stuff that I've told on the podcast before that I've just punched up for stage. So if I just had to go up there and tell the story, yeah, probably piece of piss, but it wouldn't be the most fun show, would it? So the thing I'm struggling with is just trying to remember the beats and the lines that I've added to like pump it up as more of a joke than a story. So yeah, it is, look, I would like to say I'm enjoying the process, but it is, look, I feel like it's 100% going to be one of those things. As soon as like the show finishes tomorrow night, just the weight is going to be off my shoulders. I'm going to feel better unless I completely bomb and I fuck it up royally, which there is a high chance that could happen. But Nikita's like, you need to relax. Like, it's not like a Netflix special or anything like that, but it's weird. It's like, it's weird to explain to people that aren't in the comedy scene that like your first solo show is just, I don't know, it feels like a big step, you know what I mean? And it's also like the other thing I've been thinking, if these were all just like stupid little jokes that I made up, like, oh, I went to the coffee shop today and they fucking put 3 sugars instead of 2. And I was like, hey there, lady. I asked for 2. And she said, well, fuck you. And then I had to go fucking pour the coffee on myself. And I got no laughs. I probably wouldn't give a fuck, you know what I mean? But because they're all like, they're all like actual stories from my life. So if they don't do well, it's like, oh, we think your life is shit, cunt. Oh, God, overthinking to the max. But, yeah, it is what it is. And the other thing is, like, look, you've got to do it, but I wish there was another way to do it. Like, because I would say 80% of my prep and just pre-show shit all the way up to here has just been focusing on ticket sales. Like, that is the most stressful shit in the world. Like, the lineup shows and stuff I do doesn't really, like, they pretty much sell themselves. People see comedy and they're like, yeah, we could go do an afternoon of comedy. Who cares? There'll probably be 1 or 2 people on the lineup that make us laugh. But when you're trying to sell like a solo show as just you, why do people want to come and see you? Especially when you're an absolute nobody that has zero back catalog, zero like social media presence. It's a hard sell, you know what I mean? So yeah, it is what it is. I've sort of accepted however many tickets I've sold now is pretty much going to be it. I've got one more reel coming out this afternoon. So by the time this podcast comes out, it'll be well and truly up. And yeah, it is what it is, guys. So one last push. If you guys know anyone, or if you're in the Southeast Queensland market or region or whatever, come along to the show. And if you're struggling with money or whatever, shoot me a DM. I'll see what I can do. I might be able to pull a little sneaky and put you on the door list or something. But yeah, hopefully things go well. But who gives a fuck? Let's rip right into the episode. Now, I'll preface this episode. It's going to be a short, sharp and sweet one because I need to spend a big chunk of today trying to work the rest of this show out that is not sticking in my brain. But anyway, if you follow me on socials, at Jimmy Misson on Instagram, you will have seen a couple of little, I don't know what you want to call them. Let's call them promo videos, I suppose, for the show that I've just put up there, trying to sell some more tickets, yada, yada, yada. One of them was for the truck, rolling the truck. One of them was a home invasion. One of them was, I got Joe Coy to, I went on Joe Coy's live the other day and I just kept spamming his comments saying something like, hey, Joe, it's me, Jimmy Misson. I've got my debut solo show coming up, yada, yada, yada. Not thinking he'd read it. And then he randomly reads it and I was like, fuck yes, thank God. And luckily I had my screen record on in the off chance he was going to say anything. And I just clipped it up to make it sound like I was having a conversation with Joe Coy. So that was fun. But yeah, it's been a grueling experience. But anyway, I was planning to do another one on I needed like a basketball court to do this one. Didn't end up filming this one because it didn't work out. It wasn't really funny. I didn't like it, okay? So that one will never see the light of day. But the funny part of it, right, these last two skits or promos, whatever, I had the boys home both days I was doing it because they're on school holidays or whatever. And I'm cruising around the other day and I say to Westy, I'm like, I need a basketball court, but I need it to have a net. And he's like, why does it have to have a net? Just go to like these basketball courts near our house. And I'm like, no, I need the net. So when I shoot and get the swish, it sounds sick on camera. Oh, God. The look my 8-year-old son gave me from the passenger seat was like, Dad, as if you're going to get a fucking swish. He more or less looked at me like, hey, old man, do you want me to take the shot? And you can somehow edit yourself in to make it look like you took the shot. And he looked at me like I just said, hey, Westy, I'm about to dunk on LeBron James. That's the type of energy he was giving me from the passenger seat. But it was just so disrespectful. Like, I've never seen that amount of laughter come from someone when you like. I'm just glad Westy isn't old enough for me to be like, hey, Westy, you know Suncorp Stadium where we like go see the Broncos and stuff like that. Your dad reckons he's going to sell it out telling dick jokes one day. Oh, imagine the way he'd ridicule me after that. But the second one we had to film, we came home from trying to find a basketball court, and it was the home invasion clip that I've got on my socials. Go check it out at Jimmy Misson. And I basically got Westy to stand on a chair beside me. I'm talking down the barrel of the camera to help, like doing the little intro part. And I'm like, Westy, when I say the word police, you hit me in the head with this police baton as hard as you can. And he's like, oh, I don't want to hurt you. I'm like, you're not going to hurt me. So he's tapping me on the head like so lightly. And it's just not sellable. You know what I mean? Like if something taps you that hard, it's highly unlikely you're going to drop to the ground like I did. So I'm like, hit me harder. Like just give it everything. I can do it. And he's hitting me. And then he just would not hit me hard enough to make it sellable. So I'm like, whatever. So I felt like I was starting to like scare him. Like just telling your 8-year-old son, hit me harder. It's like fucking, yeah, it's not good for his mental health. You know what I mean? So I just, whatever he did last, I just sold it. And I was like, okay, this is what it is. Now the next step came. I go, Westy, I'm going to lay on the floor and I need you, I need you to hold this gun to my head while I talk to the camera. And look, I was in full social media mode, you know what I mean? I was in filmmaker mode. I'm like, these shots are going to be amazing. I didn't think about what my 8-year-old son might be thinking in this process because off to the side, the amount of shoots I had to tell my 5-year-old son Parker to stop laughing through because he thought it was hilarious watching his dad get hit by bats and have a gun held to his head. I'm just glad Westy has some empathy, you know what I mean? That's why he is my favourite child. I'm joking. Obviously, I'm fucking joking. But, yeah, we get all the shots done, okay? Nikita comes home, I start telling her, and she's like, yeah, maybe did you think that might have been pretty, like, traumatic for Westy to be simulating violence for like that against his father? And I was like, guess that's a fair call. I guess I didn't really think about it like that. So, yeah, imagine, like, Westy becomes a teenager, he starts going to a counsellor, and they're like, where do you think all this stemmed from? And he's like, oh, well, when I was 8, my dad made me hold him down on the ground with a gun to his head, screaming at him. Like, no. It was all for content, okay? There was no traumatic experience in that. But my lord, another thing that's happened this week. I'm going to take a little sip before this one. Oh yeah, sorry, that was a long sip. My lid wouldn't come off then. But as a family, we hit a low point this week. We actually hit rock bottom as a family this week because our whole family, the 4 of us, Nikita, I, and the 2 children, sat on the couch, and as a family, we watched dog YouTube. That's correct. YouTube videos made for dogs. We were sitting there. I saw it on a reel, and I'm like, oh, this would be funny. Let's see what Bailey does if we put dog YouTube on. Now, we put it on. We're watching it for a bit. Took a bit for the dog to get involved in the TV show, okay? We were enjoying it a bit more than she was. And all of a sudden, she's noticed it, and she is sitting in front of the TV. Cutest thing you've ever seen, right? We were watching our dog watch other dogs on TV. It was just a full circle moment of stupidity. Just her tilting her head, like whimpering and like letting out small little yaps at the dogs on camera. Like every time a dog on YouTube would bark, she would bark back at him. And it was like, we'd just sit there like, oh, that was so cute. And it's like, again, I'm probably causing her traumatic damage. This week, I've just caused my entire family just trauma, just time after time. But yeah, that's the moment this week when we realised we need to get some new friends. We need to start experiencing life a bit more because, yeah, it turns out our hobby is watching our Dalmatian watch TV. So I don't know. You guys tell me who's got the saddest life in the podcasting world. But I think it's about time we rip into another Turns Out It Can Get Worse clip. Let's get this one up. This lady is a frequent on my feed, and I don't know if you guys have seen her before, but she starts off every video the exact same way. So let's see what this lovely lady's got to say this week.
Stacey Kennison, the bad bitches and the witchcraft crime ring are still vibrating and squeezing my brain and making me dizzy and nauseous. And you know why? Sandra Bullock with this Carrie from Sienna Francis shelter thinks that I need to be concessioned for the devil and punished every afternoon for making videos on my social media account. So they need, and whenever I complain, they say they're going to kill my parents or punish somebody else and try and make my parents take their punishment for vibrating my brain and squeezing it, making me dizzy and car sick. And I've been car sick my whole life. So somebody needs to tell the bad bitches that if they can't stop disrespecting me and blaspheming my Holy Spirit, they're the ones that need to die, not my parents.
Thank you, Stacey Kennison. My Lord. Every video, if you go to her Instagram right now, just type Stacey Kennison in the search bar. Every video you can just scroll through. It's like, hi, it's Stacey Kennison. Hi, it's Stacey Kennison. She's making it sound like she has a morning show instead of like a psychotic break. Oh, God, but it's such a good watch. I don't know. I need to go back to the start of her page and just see where this is all stemmed from because the whole thing is about Sandra Bullock, as if Sandra Bullock has it in for her. And I genuinely don't know why, but my Lord, she is a loose unit, that one. But let's have another sip and let's get into the next one. Oh yeah, a little bit of I'll preface it, then I'll have my sip. God, I'm fucking stupid. I just had my sip before I prefaced it. Sorry, guys. Like I said, I'm rattled. Had another crack at flyering on Friday night, I think it was. I had my spot up at Guilt-Free Comedy Club. We'll get to it. And before that, I was like, oh, it's a Friday night in Brisbane. So I said to Nikita, I'm like, I might head up there a couple of hours early and just do some flyering up and down Caxton Street, around where the venue is, and just see how I go before I head over to Guilt-Free and do my spot there. And so I cruise up there. things are going okay. People are taking the flyers this time. I didn't drop them, which was that was a win in my book. That was all I wanted to get done in my next flyering session, is just not drop my flyers. So I was handing them out. People were taking them. And I was like, okay, this isn't too bad. So I'd go up and down Caxton Street a couple of times, and I've pretty much hit all my marks. And I go past the Caxton Hotel, is it? The Caco. I don't even know. I'm pretty sure it is the Caxton Hotel, but I don't know. Everyone knows it as the Caco. So I go past there, and I'm giving it to people on the tables out the front. They're being so receptive. Security comes up to me. He's like, hey, man, what are you giving out there? I'm like, fuck, I've been got. I wanted to sprint away, but I was like, oh, it's the biggest bitch move. So I was just like, oh, I've got a comedy show up the road there at Goodchat next week. He's like, yeah, look, man, I respect the hustle, but it's sort of, we're two venues on the same street. We're sort of competing. He's like, don't get me wrong, we're fully friendly with him up there, but if my boss sees me letting you do this, I'll get my ass chewed. And I'm like, oh, I get it, bro. I'm like, do you want me to take the flyers off these guys? And he's like, nah, all good. Just keep it on the low. He's like, just keep moving. And I'm like, okay, sweet. So shout out to all the nice security guards out there. So I'm like, fuck, okay, I've done what I can do around the club. I'm like, what could I do? And I look at my clock. I've got about an hour till the show. And I'm like, why don't I just walk into Brisbane City? Okay, I'll walk to sort of the Queen Street area, and it'll be huge. It's a Friday night. There'll be so much foot traffic there. So I start the walk there. It takes me I thought it was going to be a 5-minute walk, okay? Took me 15 minutes. And I was like, fuck. But along the way, okay, I was handing out flyers still. Everyone was passing me. And wait, don't get me wrong. I don't want to make it sound like everyone was taking flyers. But maybe one in five people was taking a flyer. So hopefully some of them come to the show. We'll see. And eventually I get all the way down to Queen Street. Now, what I was met with was a good old-fashioned Palestine protest. And I don't know, it's not really the vibe to be selling a comedy show with people chanting and trying to stop war and whatever else is going on over there. So, yeah, it was part of me was like, okay, a small portion of people would appreciate the, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word? The ironic, I'm trying to say ironic, but the plural version. What is that? I don't know. Whatever it is. But I thought a small portion of people would appreciate how funny it would be to be selling a comedy show next to a protest. And I was just like, oh, I just cannot fucking push through the backlash I would get for that if someone got me on camera. So I was like, fuck this. So I just went up the road a little bit. I started handing it out. And yeah, it was not the vibe for it. So then I had to start the 15-minute walk back after I maybe spent 15 minutes there or so just trying to get some traction, but it was just not good. So I started walking back. And as I was walking back, I walked past one place and it was jam-packed, right? And I was like, what the fuck? And there were just people out the front smoking and vaping, and they're all talking French and Italian and stuff. And I was like, oh, it's a fucking backpackers. And I was like, look, not exactly my target demographic, okay? But there's a fuckload of them in there, and a lot of them are probably looking for shit to do on a weeknight. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to pop my head in there. Pop my head in, ask the receptionist. I'm like, hey, look, doing a comedy show next Tuesday. Any chance I could leave these flyers on the communal kitchen bench over there? So some of these people can be looking at them and stuff while they're cooking their dinner. They're like, yeah, of course, 100%. Leave however many you want. So I left 20 flyers there. And straight away as I was walking out, it was like bees to honey. All these backpackers just start swarming and looking at the flyers. And I'm like, oh, okay. I doubt any of them will come, but hey, it's the most success I've felt tonight. So all the way back to my car, I passed another 2 backpackers after that. So 3 backpackers all up, and all 3 of them let me leave flyers there. So hopefully some of them come to the show, but we'll see. But yeah, my Lord, it is, like I said at the start of the show, it is a shitty time trying to sell tickets to a comedy show. But on the back of that, let's rip into my week in comedy. All kicked off Thursday night. Had another night down at a Prey Surf down at Burleigh. And look, it wasn't the most horrendous, but it wasn't like the best set I ever had. It was just one of those middle ground sets again. And I was first up straight off the bat. And I was pushing through. Some people were laughing. Some people were like, what the fuck is this guy doing right now? And I just pushed through. I'm trying to remember back. I think I ran 2 newish jokes from the show. But when I say that, they're more or less rewrites of old jokes that I've weaseled into the show. So, I do my set, and hats off to these people. There were 2 people to the left of the stage, and they were just they were getting me through my set, if that makes sense. They were laughing at everything. I was like, oh, thank fuck. And I basically got off the stage and just started walking towards my car. And as I'm walking, I just hear people yelling out to me. I turn around and it's these 2 people that were sitting side of stage. And they were like, fuck, man, that was so funny. Like, we don't know why no one else was laughing. He's like, they're like, oh, it's just a bunch of cool 20-year-old burly heads just thinking that they're too cool to laugh at that shit. And I was like, oh, thanks. Like, appreciate it. Like, it was a rough night. And they're like, no, genuinely so good. They're like, what's your Instagram? Blah, blah, blah. And they're like, we didn't even know comedy was on tonight, but we're sort of not in the mood for comedy. That's why we're not in there anymore. I was like, oh, it's all good. But I ended up talking to them for like, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. So shout out to those guys. Genuinely appreciate it. The lady actually said she was visiting from Melbourne or something. So, she said she was going from Gold Coast and she's going to be in Brisbane on Tuesday night, but she said she'll see if she comes to the show or not, but I highly doubt it. But yeah, shout out to them. If you go to a comedy show and you see the comedian having a rough time on stage, but you've enjoyed them, go up to him after the show and just say, good job, bud. It genuinely means the world on nights like that. But then Friday night, after I did all my flyering, had my first ever headline spot at Guilt-Free Comedy Club. So I was, I feel like if I didn't have the solo show coming up, I feel like I would have been a little more stressed and worked up about this show, you know what I mean? But shout out to Guilt-Free for giving me the headline spot. They show me a lot of love and shit like that in the terms of liking my shit and sending me DMs and yada, yada, yada. So I was stoked to finally get a spot there, and all the way up to the show, I thought I had a 15-minute headline spot, okay? And then right before the show, they go, oh, hey, we're going to give you 20. And I was like, fuck, okay. So I start cramming another 5 minutes of jokes in, and I basically treated that whole headline spot as I don't know if you want to call it like a retirement of my old jokes or like more or less like a goodbye to my old jokes. Like, all right, this will be the last set. Again, in saying that, I'm still going to pluck the classics out every now and then when I need them. But it was more or less a set of let's cram everything that you've done to date into this set, and it can all be a neat little package. I filmed the thing, and I'm potentially thinking about putting it on my YouTube eventually. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But, ended up getting on stage and the crowd was fucking rowdy. They were up for it. And I ended up having to drop like 3 jokes out of my set because I was like going back and forth with the crowd too much. Like they wanted to be involved, which is sick. Like I've said lately, I'm enjoying the whole crowd work aspect of comedy. And even though I've had to drop a couple of jokes, I think it was worth it. Like I put another reel up on my socials this week of just... there was this big Jack dude in the front row. He had the shortest shorts on I've ever seen in my life, but he had these huge fucking quads. So I was going back and forth with him. Then he comes up on stage to show everyone his shorts. And as he's walking off stage, he fucking taps me on the dick. Oh, God. It took me completely off guard. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think of what I can say to the crowd next. And then all of a sudden just get this little tap on the dick. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened right now? It was so crazy, but just had to play into it again, ask the venue for a sexual harassment form, yada, yada, yada. The crowd was they started this chant to like show them my tits. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it was the loosest crowd. It was so good. But I loved every second of it. I was going so well at the start, okay, like crushing. And then I lost him around the middle somewhere. I don't know. I still got to watch the footage back, but I didn't completely lose them, but there was definitely a lull in my material in the middle there. And I feel like this is the weird thing as well, okay? I started the set relatively dirty-ish, okay? Not crazy dirty, but dirty enough. And they were just eating that up. And then in the middle is sort of jokes that I've worked on for more of like a cleaner room, if that makes sense. And I feel like that's where I lost them. And I'm like, fuck, I should have just kept going with the dirty stuff. But then I wound it back at the end and ramped it up with dirty stuff again. Feel like I won them back. So, yeah, it was a 6 set. I was completely stoked with it. But one thing I did notice in that whole headlining spot is the difference. Like, obviously, most of my sets at the moment, I'm either first, second, or third on a lineup show. You're setting the mood for the night. You're doing the legwork for the whole show sort of thing. You're just setting the mood, okay? And most of the times, it is a rough set. It's a hard push through. You bomb a lot of the time. But what I noticed is progressively throughout the night is everyone will get a little bit more drunk. Everyone will get a little bit more loose. All the acts before were like setting it all up. They were getting everyone laughing, just really building the room. And then as the headliner, you just got to go on and more or less go on autopilot and just soak up all the hard work that everyone on the lineup has already done for you. You know what I mean? Like, I could have got up there and read my fucking grocery list and I feel like they would have laughed. So, yeah, it was pretty crazy just to, I don't know, you feel like, oh, I've got the headline spot. This is going to be so much hard work, things like that. But it was like, yeah, it felt easier than a normal lineup show, if that makes sense. So, yeah, pretty crazy. It felt like I was like a UFC fighter just going in the octagon against a 10-year-old. Oh, God. How's that for a bit of a, what's the word? I don't know. Comparison. Words are not coming to me, guys. This is what I'm saying about the solo show. This is, God, I'm going to crash and burn so fucking hard. I'm so stressed. My Lord. I'm going to take a sip and we're going to get into our next. Turns out it can get worse. Scroll down here. Oh, yep, this bad boy. Let's drag him over. My Lord, where is he? Here he is. Okay.
What does a penis and a Rubik's Cube have in common?
Not sure.
The more you play with it, the harder it gets.
Oh, Ash Epstein, everyone. Ash has started a new Instagram page. Go give him a follow. But my Lord, that was not a joke. That was like a cry for help. Just lonely men just out here making metaphors for other ways to say I'm lonely. Oh, God, that poor bloke. Poor bloke. But yeah, that was a cracker. I might, look, if the solo show goes that bad, I might pull that one out of my back pocket. But where am I? All right, let's get into a couple of sport topics. Like yesterday, if you're a sports fan, yesterday was potentially the best day ever of sport, okay? We had UFC 320 and we had the NRL Grand Final back to back. And God, both events were absolutely unreal. So let's kick off with the UFC after our UFC breakdown that we did last week. Thanks to everyone that showed that episode a bit of love. We'll kick off with the main event. I think we have to. Alex Pereira comes in and proves to us all that he was not talking shit when he said their first matchup. He was at about 40%. My Lord, we were back to vintage Alex. He is a scary motherfucker. You could not pay me enough to get in the octagon with that guy and have him fight you at 100%. You know what I mean? Got in there, made his statement, got the first round finish, got his belt back, and my Lord, the rumor is his next opponent is going to be Carlos Ulberg, the Kiwi bloke that I spoke about last week. And look, as much as I fucking like Carlos Ulberg, seeing Alex Pereira yesterday, I don't know. I'd like to think Carlos can get it done, but Alex Pereira is fucking one of the best examples of a MMA fighter we have seen ever. The dude is a killer. Straight from the Amazon fucking rainforest into the octagon, fucking people up. But speaking about people of the best display of MMA fighters we've ever seen, the co-main, Merab Dvalishvili, just fucked up his last name royally then. The dude, his cardio should be illegal, okay? They need to do like extra tests on that bloke, okay? Fuck all the steroid tests and things like that. He's on something. He's gone to space and he's got some sort of untraceable liquid that he's just injecting him in himself that just lets him go for days and days and days. The dude, he is, if ADHD was a fighter, that is what Marab would be, okay? The dude is unstoppable. Like I said, I thought Corey Sandhagen was his last real competition in the division. But in saying that, realistically, we all knew Corey wasn't going to get it done. Shout out to Corey Sandhagen for like putting up the fight that he did though. But Marab there's no one that's going to be able to stop him. I genuinely feel the UFC office this morning, they're going to be like sitting at the table and they're like, fuck, we have got no one to even give this guy any ounce of competition. We're going to have to fast track someone like we did to Alex Pereira. We're going to have to find someone. We're going to have to go into the jungles or the desert. We're just going to have to find some absolute beast and we're just going to fast track him to a title shot and just hope that there's someone out there that can even give Marab a challenge, you know what I mean? Because I feel like for easily the next 12 months, possibly even 2 years, there's going to be no one to even challenge Marab. We're just going to be throwing carcasses into the octagon for Marab to just dismantle. Just take them into the depths of a 5-round decision and just make them feel like they're in hell. So shout out to Marab, absolute beast. And then the last fighter I wanted to talk about was probably one of the fighters that I'm most excited about at the moment. I wish he was a little bit more vocal, but on the other hand, it's kind of cool to see how soft-spoken, polite, and gentle he is, but his body and the way he fights is the complete opposite end of the Richter. He is a jack tank in the middleweight division, and I genuinely feel like he's future champion of that division for sure. I'm talking about Atiba. He got another first-round finish yesterday, and look, shout out to his opponent, but his opponent took it on like short notice, and he got completely dismantled. It looked like this was his first MMA fight. The way he was skipping around the entire octagon, he was skipping around for maybe the first 2 minutes of this round, not engaging at all. Like he was looking at Atiba like, I'm not going anywhere near that beast, and I don't fucking blame him. But as soon as he engaged, Atiba threw him to the ground and just finished him. And it was like, my Lord, that is some scary shit. So keep an eye on him. I highly doubt we're ever going to get decent odds for him until he gets to those like top 10, top 5 championship fights. So yeah, I'm glad I got on him at the ground level. So excited to see where he takes it. Now let's get on to the NRL Grand Final that happened last night. On the pre-game entertainment, we had Teddy Swims, okay? Now, the big back and forth has been the AFL had Snoop Dogg this year. How is Teddy Swims going to compete? Now, was I excited for it? No. Was I watching it? And I was like, okay, this isn't too bad, okay? And part of my like old man shit started to kick in. I was like, he comes up, he's in like he was in a kilt, but my like old man Aussie, I was looking at him like, why the fuck's he in a fucking dress? This is the footy. Fucking wearing a dress and singing for the footy. And Nikita's like, it's a kilt. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck what it is. Fucking wearing a dress at the footy. That's how you know you're becoming an old man. And then I wound back. I go, okay, he starts singing, and don't get me wrong, he's got a fucking crazy voice. Then he rips out some AC/DC, starts singing TNT, and it's like, okay, all right, the bloke's done all right. And look, definitely wasn't my favourite pre-game, but he came out, he did what he had to do, and he put on a good show. So shout out to Teddy Swims. And then on that as well, his guitarist had dreadlocks, and Parker out of nowhere just goes, why does that guy have noodles as hair? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know why that guy does have noodle hair. But anyway, then on to the game. Holy fuck. I said this about the 2015 Grand Final, okay? And I don't know if it's just because I was a back in the day Broncos fan. And let me preface this. I'm not going to come on here and jump on the Broncos bandwagon. I've vocally said everywhere that I'm a Titans supporter these days, okay? And I'm standing by that. because I feel like there's something about your team being shit for so long, and when they finally get their chance, I want to be there for that, okay? So I'm riding it out with the Titans, but in the back of my head, used to be a Broncos supporter, so I was stoked for them to go in there and get it done yesterday. But like I was saying, the 2015 Grand Final, Cowboys versus Broncos, that still probably goes down as the best Grand Final I've ever seen. Just the whole movie scenes around it of Jonathan Thurston taking his team finally to the Grand Final and just cementing his place in immortality, you know what I mean? And missing those kicks. It was cinema at its finest. Now, the Grand Final yesterday, I felt it was along the same lines, okay? Just the whole cinema and story behind it, it all built up. There was just so much excitement. And to be honest, I've said as well, I've not really followed footy for the last, 6 years or so. But there was something about this season just got me right back in there. I don't know if it was the stories, if it was like all the unexpected teams making the final rounds, things like that. But it just stacked up to be another crazy Grand Final. And the big thing for me was Ben Hunt, 10 years on from that 2015 Grand Final, dropping the ball and now getting another chance exactly 10 years on to the date to get redemption, and just so stoked that he got it done. He got knocked out in the last 10 minutes, so a little bit shitty that he wasn't on the field when everything eventually got done, but at least he got that premiership ring, came back to the Broncos, got the win. But the two that I want to talk about, okay, let's talk about the one that everyone is fucking talking about, Reece Walsh. Holy shit. Obviously I've seen the highlights. I've seen, I listen to Hello Sports all the time. They're always talking about, games that he has and shit. But watching him the last 4 to 5 weeks, that dude is probably one of the most naturally skilled footballers I've seen in recent memories. You know what I mean? The way that he can just break a game open completely on his own back is insane. And he, for sure, deserving winner of the Clive Churchill last night. He won that Grand Final for the Broncos. Both their playmakers, Adam Reynolds and Ben Hunt, both taken off in the second half. The Broncos' only option was fucking Reece Walsh. And on the other hand of that, now, again, I want to fucking say, don't support anything he's ever done off field. Found himself in some trouble, doing the old cocaine, hitting a mother in his car, shit like that. Yes, okay, don't support any of that. But when Ezra Mam comes off the bench last night in the first half, clearly fucking him and Reece Walsh together, amazing stuff. That is footy cinema at its finest. Without Ezra Mam last night as well, Broncos wouldn't have got that done. He is, again, the fucking amount of try-saving tackles he made, just the small little plays he was doing here and there. He more or less put the Broncos on his back and said, all right, this is what I can do. So shout out to Reece Walsh, shout out to Ezra Mam, on-field Ezra Mam, okay? And Reece Walsh in his Clive Churchill medal speech, doing the toilet water thing, just all fucking class. And then the captain, Adam Reynolds, comes on and he brings Billy Walters up, who was obviously injured, couldn't play in the Grand Final. Just everything. It was, like I said, cinema at its finest. And that is that's what rugby league is at the end of the day. It's just watching that cinematic shit happen, and it just gets you involved. So shout out to the Broncos. That was all three. So the AFL, the NRLW, and the NRL, all Brisbane teams this year. So shout out to Brisbane. We're fucking killing it. Speaking about killing it in Brisbane, come to Epifunny, October 7th, Goodchat Comedy Club. Hopefully we can have a little win there. Let's play our last turns out it can get worse clip for the week. We got this bloke here. What's he on about?
Hey, I was walking around and I was thinking, I need to let everybody know, if you see me fighting in the forest with a grizzly bear, go on ahead and help the bear.
If you ever see me fighting in the forest with a grizzly bear, help the bear! 'Cause that bitch.
What the fuck? The bear's watching that guy I'm not fighting that guy. He is clearly unwell. That dude is 73 holding a Monster Energy can. The only thing he's fighting is his cholesterol. Oh, God. That poor man. I can't wait to get to that stage where I'm on the internet doing shit like that. But let's play our funny clip of the week. One of my favorite comedians. Doesn't get the love he deserves, but let's play a clip from Dan Soder.
be fun dumb. You ever seen someone with the right amount? Where you're like, damn, you have it. It's all green lights for you. That's what I want, dude. Turn the lights down. Just barely. Just one more. Turn the lights down one. Not two. I don't want to be so dumb I can't live alone. I'm not. I'm not trying to burden a family member, but I just want to enjoy. Like, I would love to walk in a room and see a Fast and Furious trailer and be like, they're going faster? Like, up? Like, how?
Shout out to Dan Soder. He's one of my favorite, like, recent up-and-coming comedians for sure. So that special there, I forget the name of it. I think it's called On the Road by Dan Soder. It's free on YouTube. Go check it out. One of my favorite specials in the last 10 years, easy. Other than that, guys, I have my debut comedy show, Epifunny, at Goodchat Comedy Club, October 7th, the day this episode comes out. So, again, if you can't afford the ticket or whatever, shoot me a DM. I will try and help you guys out. Like I said, I'm just trying to get bums in seats at this stage. So I would be absolutely stoked. I know a couple of you guys are actually coming, which has fucking blown my mind that somehow I come in here and fucking vent once a week and now you guys want to come and watch me do comedy. Genuinely appreciate it. So thank you guys so much. Other than that, we've got our show at the Orion Hotel this Friday, October 10th, for West Park Productions. So keen as for that one. I'll be emceeing that bad boy. Other than that, guys, send submissions via DM on Instagram or at cantgetanyworsepod@gmail.com. Episodes will be back to normal next week, hopefully a whole lot less stressed. But yeah, other than that, guys, I appreciate you guys listening, and I guess I will see you guys on the other side. Thanks, guys. I will see you later.